Hello my friends, this will be a somewhat different video from what you're used to. In this short episode, I'd like to talk to you about some of the stuff going on behind the scenes here on the channel, as well as share with you some of the upcoming content, future projects we do have over here, and answer some of your most frequently asked questions that I've seen across some of the latest videos. So let's get to it. I still remember very well the moment when I first got into the Warhammer universe. The year was 2006 when I stumbled upon this Games Workshop store. I was just walking by in a mall in Canada, Montreal at that time, and I saw all these beautifully painted miniatures about the Lord of the Rings. And I still remember that I was heavy into the Lord of the Rings at the time. I think there was the trilogy in the movies playing still. So yeah, suddenly I was almost drawn into it magically, automatically into the store. And I remember being captivated by the idea that the Lord of the Rings and this thing called Warhammer, which I didn't know at the time what exactly it was, had this tabletop miniatures game that you could play over on beautifully painted terrain. And the fact that it didn't have tiles over it really captivated and really blew my mind at that time, because I was used to playing board games based on tiles, and you know, these are the rules and this is how you play. Instead, I just stumbled upon the Lord of the Rings game that was based upon just the miniatures, and you have to actually measure the distances and roll the dice and everything else just to keep the flow going. So it was awesome, the fact that you could play a game which had clearly established rules, but at the same time it could look like there were no boundaries and there was almost like a sandbox. I think that's one of the most important elements that captivated me at that time. From then on, I remember going back to that store and getting myself the starter set for the Lord of the Rings, which I think it was in fact the Mines of Moria at the time. I don't really remember which edition of Lord of the Rings tabletop game it was, but it was based around the Mines of Moria. And almost around that time, I just came to know what Warhammer was, right? Because I just kept going back and forth into that store whenever I finished my classes. So a couple of weeks later, after I got my first Lord of the Rings starter set, I got myself the Warhammer Fantasy tabletop game starter set, which was, and I do remember, the 6th edition. Yeah, 6th edition, and it was the Battle for School Pass. It featured the dwarves fighting against the orcs and goblins, and it was an awesome set at the time. Anyways, I got into the hobby that way. I learned the rules, kind of. I painted all the minis I had back then, and then, well, I never got to play any real games because my time was up in Canada and I had to move back to El Salvador, Central America, where I currently live. The thing is that there's no Games Workshop here in El Salvador, Central America, where I live. Not even close. It's not even close. I had to consume the hobby from afar for years now. And buying the miniatures is very expensive over here, as the importing fees are through the roof because they are classified as toys or as luxury things. So yeah, getting the miniatures over here is almost prohibitive. So as the years passed, I still enjoy the occasional Warhammer book or codex or White Dwarf magazine or video game revolving around the topic. As time went by, I remember that I just started making videos revolving around Warhammer Fantasy, which was the universe that I felt like at that time I have mostly absorbed the most. I like Warhammer 40k as well. I like Warhammer Fantasy. I have barely dipped my toes into Age of Sigmar, but I don't know a lot of stuff about it. But yes, Warhammer Fantasy was the one that really clicked for me, and was my first contact with Warhammer was with Warhammer Fantasy. So I always will be kind of fond to that game. I still remember staring at those awesome miniatures in the tabletop, and to think that now we do have a full-blown 3D video game in Total War Warhammer, in which we can reenact all those legendary battles in full 3D and with animation and sound effects and spells and awesome voice lines and characters and all the factions you want and legendary lords you want. I think it's an awesome time to be a Warhammer fan in that regard, Warhammer Fantasy fan, despite that the world is kind of dead, if you know what I mean. But yeah, now with the upcoming release of Warhammer 3, we will have even more of that. So it's really exciting to think that there's even more content to talk about, more stuff to play with, and we as content creators, we do have more stories to tell. Speaking of which, I hope you are enjoying the content, my friends. I really want to thank you for subscribing to the channel and watching and enjoying the videos. We are now a little more than 100,000 subscribers, and wow, just when I think about it, I have to pinch myself sometimes just to believe it. To be honest, I never thought we will reach this milestone. I thought that since Warhammer Fantasy was kind of already dead, I don't want to spoil things to anybody, but I think that by this time we all know that Chaos won and the Warhammer Fantasy was basically gone and blown away during the end times. I think that doing videos based around Warhammer Fantasy specifically was going to be enjoyed by just a few people, but man, we are 100,000 subscribers right now, and it's almost unbelievable to think that there are so many people that actually do enjoy the setting. And like I was telling you, to think that we have all these books available, all these the video games, the Total War Warhammer trilogy available for us right now to play with, and basically it is a sandbox in which we can add mods and do basically whatever we want. It's just awesome, and we have to in a kind of way celebrate that, you know, and appreciate that. It just blows my mind and makes me really happy and motivates me to try to create the best Warhammer content I can. All I can say, guys, is thank you from the bottom of my heart, really. Thank you, I appreciate it. And also very, very important, all the credit in the world also goes to the amazing voice actors that have been in this channel from the beginning. Alex.
For where better to seek eternal glory than in a land that gathers more monsters than men?
Scrobosaurus.
Now, with the passing of time, uncountable Skaven lairs exist throughout the entire world.
Adam.
According to their precise instructions, great temple cities and marvelous structures were built in specific locations across the seas and the mountains.
These are the guys that give life to the videos, you know. At the end of the day, you are listening at their voices, and their voices are the ones that keep you captivated, hopefully. So I'm grateful that I have been fortunate enough to find them along the way and get to do videos on stuff we enjoy. With each and every episode on the channel, I do my best to find the best combination of music, sounds, images, special effects and whatnot, to try to bring you the best story possible for you guys, to try to make it as immersive as possible. You as a content creator, you're always thinking about how best to present the lore to you. So you're always thinking about, for example, how to best transition from an action scene to a quiet scene. How do you do that change in terms of visual things? Are you doing stuff based on a video and then you go into an image, or vice versa? Or what about the music? How do you transition from this to that? Do I add a sound effect over here and there? At the end of the day, those are the decisions that make up for a nice video for you to take, for a nice and entertaining video. But at the end of the day, it's the voice actors and their narration that they provide, that it's the main element, I think, that wrap it all up and make the whole video digestible for you. Because there are many of you guys, myself included, that when we consume videos made by content creators, we either watch them directly or we are painting and just listening to them. So at the end of the day, I think that's the main thing when it comes to doing, you know, this kind of lore and storytelling. Not, for example, in painting tutorials in which you have to look at what's going on, or Warhammer battle reports in which you have to know what's going on in the actual game. But in the lore, you can just sit back and enjoy the lore even with your eyes closed. So it's super important for me and for any other content creator that does lore to get the sound right. And that's where music, sound effects, and that can create a difference. But at the end of the day, guys, it's the narrator, the voice actor that makes the whole difference there. So all the credit in the world goes to them, Alex, Adam, Scrobosaurus, all these awesome people that have helped me throughout the years. The channel wouldn't be the same without them. For certain episodes, I'm fortunate enough to work alongside other people in the research and writing part of the making of every video. Lately, I've been working closely with an amazing girl from Turkey. Her name is Yakamos. I hope I'm not butchering your name, my friend. And a very cool guy from Brazil, Lo. They have helped me in the research and writing part of things and coming up with cool ideas and stories to tell on the channel. And as far as the team goes, that's basically it. I mean, there's no fixed employees or anything like that. It's just me and a bunch of other amazing people from around the world coming together depending on the necessity of each episode and the budget we have at hand. So yeah, we work together to bring you guys the best fan-made Warhammer content we can. So again, we thank you so much for your support and we hope you are enjoying the content. When it comes to the future projects and the upcoming content for the channel, I think there are some cool things coming over the next few weeks and months. We're planning on doing another narrative campaign sometime in the future. The one we did about Arkham the Black a few months ago proved to be good because although it didn't make as many views as the regular lore videos, it was a good change of pace for the content of the channel, and it proved that a narrative campaign focusing mostly on the stories behind the playthroughs can be entertaining and worth doing. I'm happy to see that many of you guys really enjoyed the series, and we plan on doing more of that in the future, incorporating all that was learned in the making of that narrative campaign. There's also another project that I've been working on over the last couple of months, and I'm really excited about it. It's going to be based around the tabletop game of Warhammer 40k, so I've been quite busy painting my backlog of minis and getting up to date with the rules and the current state of the game. It hasn't been easy because there's a lot to take in and many things to learn, but I think the end result will be worth it. I'll let you guys know more about it as the time approaches, but like I said, hopefully it will be something you guys will enjoy watching. Just to finish this episode, I wanted to let you know that there's a lore video coming up right after we publish this one, so thank you for watching up until this point, my friend. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by joining our Patreon page or becoming a YouTube channel member. Believe me that it really helps a lot, and it makes a difference in trying to come up with the best Warhammer content we can as a channel, and it helps with the music, with the voice actor paying fees, you know, and keep the lights on, basically. Also, just by sharing this video, giving it a like, or just commenting and sharing your thoughts, it really helps, and it all counts, and we are grateful for that. So that's it for now, my friends. I hope you have enjoyed this behind the scenes kind of episode, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.
On this channel, we are putting together narrative Total War cinematic battles and Warhammer lore videos. A special thank you goes to our Patreon supporters who help us in the making of more content. You can also join Patreon and earn extra perks while supporting the videos to come. Find the link in the description below. Make sure to subscribe, and thank you for watching. See you on the next one.